Hi, guys, and welcome to another Word for Today. Word for Today is when we take one word from one chapter in the book of Proverbs and think a little bit about that. Today's word is the word codependency, and we want to talk more about that. We'll be right back. There's a great passage in the book of Proverbs that really summarizes this whole issue of codependency, and it's found in Proverbs chapter 19, verse number 19. Let me read that. It says, "A hot-tempered person must pay the penalty. Rescue them, and you will have to do it again." Proverbs 19, verse number 19. And codependency is all about rescuing people from their dysfunctional behaviors. And it's one of these things where it says here that if you do that, if you rescue them, you're only going to have to do that again. If you want to know what codependency means, here's a definition of it. It says codependency is excessive emotional or psychological reliance on a partner, typically one who requires support on account of an illness or an addiction. And think about it this way, is that codependency makes it possible for another to remain in their addiction or dysfunction. And so in a codependent relationship, you have one person who is dependent on either their substance or their habitual bad behavior, and like what we're talking about here in the book of Proverbs 19, which is anger. And then you have another person who is codependent. Essentially, their addiction is to the person who has the addiction or the dysfunction. And so one of the things that we need to understand, and this is important for everyone to reflect on, and that's just simply this, is that codependency is not love, it's selfishness. And the codependent it has a script that they tell themselves over and over about how loving and how sacrificial and how much they've put up with and how much they've suffered in the relationship. But the fact of the matter is that it's not love, it's selfishness. What it does, it saves me from the discomfort of dealing with the issue at the expense of the destruction of the person who has the issue. So in other words, is that it saves me. Codependency is all about me. It saves me from discomfort at the expense of the destruction of the person who has the problem. And so that's not love. That's selfishness. And so if you are in a relationship with someone who is dysfunctional, and I've taught this all along in my relationship coaching, and I have an online course which I'm making available to you free of charge on relationships. But when you're in a relationship with someone who is dysfunctional, the first person needing to change is you. We don't like to hear that. We always want to talk about how bad the other person is and how much we're suffering and putting up with that person. But you're the person who has to change. Everything changes. As I say in my course, everything changes when you change. And so you need to learn how to set healthy boundaries, and you need to learn how to seek relational and personal health. And so we need to think about this word codependency and how it's impacting our own individual lives and figure out healthy ways to move beyond it and be humble enough to understand that when I am stuck in a dysfunctional relationship, the first person that needs to change is me, and I'm going to begin to find healthier ways of relating with others. And so that's it for now. I would encourage you, by the way, this week to do a little bit of reflecting on where you're showing codependency in your relationships And I'd also would encourage you to read Proverbs chapter 19. It has a lot of great, passages and insights in that chapter. And I would also encourage you to take a look at that free course that I have online. That's it for now. See you around. Bye-bye.